Welcome to Talk Like Us, dreaming of fluent English? Here, we turn beginners into confident speakers with real talk, real stories, and real results. No pressure, no rush. Just speak, smile, and talk like us.
I'm sure many of you watching today might be going through the same thing. You can watch movies in English, follow conversations, and even read books or articles without any trouble. But when it's time to speak, your mind goes blank and you can't find the right words. I totally get it. It's something I've struggled with for a long time, and I want to share my experience with you, what I've learned, the mistakes I've made, and the tips that have helped me get better at speaking English. So, let's get started. My personal struggle with speaking. First, I want to share a little bit about my personal experience. When I first started learning English, I was doing great at understanding it. Watching TV shows? No problem. Reading articles online? Easy. But when I had to speak, it was a whole different story. I remember the first time I tried speaking English with a native speaker. I was so nervous. I had everything in my head, what I wanted to say, how I wanted to say it, but when the moment came, I couldn't get the words out. My mind just went blank. I tried to speak, but it felt like there was this invisible barrier between my thoughts and the words I needed to say. It was frustrating because I knew I understood everything the other person was saying, but when it was my turn to talk, I felt stuck. And I know I'm not the only one who's gone through this. It's super common among people who are learning English as a second language. So, if you're feeling this way, trust me, you're not alone. Why do we struggle to speak? Why do we struggle to speak when we can understand everything? There are a few reasons for this, and it's important to understand them so we don't get discouraged. The first reason is passive versus active learning. When you're listening to English or reading something, you're usually processing it passively, you're just taking in the information. But speaking requires you to actively produce the language in real time. You have to think, form sentences, and speak all at once. It's like going from passive observation to active participation. Another big factor is fear of making mistakes. A lot of people, myself included, want to speak perfectly. We're afraid that if we make a mistake, people will judge us or not understand us. But the truth is, native speakers make mistakes all the time. The key is to keep going, not get caught up in every little error. Remember, language learning is a journey, and mistakes are part of the process. Lastly, confidence plays a huge role. Even if you know the words, when you're not confident in speaking, your brain might freeze or second-guess itself. This happens a lot, especially when you're just starting to speak the language more often. Overcoming the fear of speaking. Now, let's talk about something really important, overcoming the fear of speaking. I know that fear all too well. For a long time, I was terrified of making mistakes. But the more I practiced, the more I realized that nobody speaks perfectly, and that's okay. In fact, making mistakes is a good thing. It means you're pushing yourself to use the language and trying to get better. I started telling myself, it's okay if I mess up as long as I'm trying. That mindset shift really helped me build my confidence. Here's a trick I used. Focus on communication, not perfection. The goal isn't to speak perfectly, the goal is to get your message across. I remember one time I was talking to a native speaker, and I couldn't remember the word for something. Instead of panicking, I just described it. I said, it's a type of fruit that's yellow and you peel it. The other person understood and we kept talking. It was a small mistake, but it didn't stop the conversation. That moment really helped me realize that it's more important to just keep talking than to worry about being perfect. Tips for improving your speaking. Alright, let's get into some practical tips that can help you improve your speaking skills. These are things that really help me, and I'm sure they'll help you too. Practice speaking every day. The more you speak, the better you'll get. Even if you don't have anyone to practice with, you can speak out loud to yourself. Talk about your day, describe things around you, or even try narrating what you're doing. Just speak. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be consistent. Find a conversation partner. Whether it's a language exchange partner, a friend, or even someone online, find someone to talk to regularly. Having a partner to practice with helps build confidence, and it's also a great way to learn real, everyday language. I use language exchange apps like Tandem or Hello Talk to find people to practice with. Don't overthink grammar. I know it's tempting to focus on grammar, but if you're constantly worried about using perfect grammar, you'll get stuck. In conversation, the goal is to communicate, not to be perfect. So, if you make a mistake, just keep talking. Native speakers will still understand you. Listen to English every day. The more you listen, the more you'll get used to the flow of the language. Watch TV shows, listen to podcasts, or follow YouTube channels in English. Pay attention to how native speakers talk, how they form sentences, and how they use slang. This will make your speaking sound more natural. Repeat what you hear. This one is huge. If you hear a phrase or sentence that you like, repeat it out loud. Try to mimic the way it sounds. This helps you with both pronunciation and fluency. It's also a great way to pick up new vocabulary and expressions that native speakers use. Embrace your progress. One thing I really want to stress is to celebrate your progress. It can be easy to get frustrated if you feel like you're not improving fast enough, but trust me, every step counts. When I look back at where I started, I can see how much I've improved. I may not be fluent yet, but I'm way more confident than I was 6 months ago. So, celebrate those small wins. Maybe you had a successful conversation with a stranger, or you finally understood a movie without subtitles. Those moments are important. If you're struggling, don't give up. Just keep practicing and remember, you're already doing amazing by just showing up and trying.
Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon. Talk like us.